So welcome to Bitesize Edge, and today I have the pleasure of talking to the wonderful Matt Munns. Matt, welcome.
Thank you very much, Jools. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello. It's fabulous to have you. I know you are a very, very busy man, so I really appreciate you spending some time today having a chat with me. So first and foremost, Matt, I guess the first question I want to ask you is, NLP, what was your introduction to NLP and how did you find yourself doing your training with Edge?
Yes, it's a good question. So many years ago, well, not that many years ago, probably 2 or 3 years ago, I actually had a breakthrough, which at the time I didn't really realise what it was. I didn't really know about NLP as such, know the label of it.
When you say, Matt, sorry, let me just stop you there. When you said breakthrough,
yeah,
what is breakthrough?
Well, I thought exactly the same at the time. It was
what is it?
It was a case of I knew somebody had gone to go and see a lady that helped her get over a few challenges, and I knew there was a few things that were niggling me that I thought, okay, let's go and speak to the same lady and see, what she says about me. So I started speaking to her and realised that, yes, there was some limiting beliefs, there was some challenges that I was facing at the time. So I went ahead with, spending a little bit more time with her. And the label is kind of a breakthrough, I suppose, which is probably the technical NLP term. At the time, like I say, I didn't really know the term as such. But yeah, when I spent a couple of days with her, really broke me down, quite emotional at times, but come away from that 2 days and, felt a completely different person. So a lot more confident in what I was doing. I felt clearer. I felt lighter as well. It lifted a lot off of my shoulders, which I was kind of going through a bit of a tough time at the time, I suppose, but I didn't really realise, essentially. So that was kind of my intro into it, and then naturally I was intrigued about what it was exactly that I'd gone through the process. And also, it intrigued me, could I learn more about that and help others, So I think it was a friend of mine had gone on a one-day taste day with Edge.
Yeah.
And I unfortunately couldn't make it, and because I did find out that what I went through is like an NLP breakthrough. Spoke to him about it. He'd seen a one-day taster day with Edge, and unfortunately I couldn't make it. Messaged him and said, what was it like? And he said, don't bother with the taster day, just get on the main course because it's amazing. So,
fabulous. That's always good to hear. I thought for a moment you were going to say, "Oh, we just said don't bother." Terrible.
No, that's not the case, George. So yeah, and that kind of, so I trusted his words and went on to the initial training days with Edge.
Fabulous. So the breakthrough session that you had it sounds like it had a huge impact on your ability to move forward. And as you mentioned there was the building confidence, and you were able to deal with some of your limiting beliefs. But it also seems like it ignited something for you with wanting to learn more about it as a subject matter, and potentially how it could help you move forward even more. And is that really what your motivation was, to actually come and go, okay, I'm going to take 6 days out, I'm going to do my practitioner course? You get your certificate at the end, but you've had 6 full days of actually learning much more about NLP. So is that your motivation?
Yeah, so I suppose initially my motivation was wanting to learn more, but also having them kind of skills long term for life, because the breakthrough was fantastic, but I did find over time, I needed almost like that bit of a top up, and I thought, well, why not go and learn exactly the whole process and be able to, you know, take on them life skills? Because I realised, you know, they're always going to come in handy with coaching myself and others, because, you know, I just started to coach others within business and sort of like personal development. And I knew that, you know, NLP was always going to help with that. But I suppose initially when I went on to the committed to the Edge, you know, yes, it was 6 days, but I see it as an investment in myself, you know, and I think if you invest in yourself, that always pays the best interest, you know, and so I kind of see the value of it, because I had such a shift from the breakthrough. I thought, you know, this could be, you know, a game changer. So going on to the 6th day, I didn't necessarily know 100% what to expect and what my outcome was, but I just learned to, you know, trust the process. As
we say quite a lot, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, my outcome was always to be able to help others, and you know, to be able to help myself. And I realised helping myself had to be first, you know, before I can help others. So went on to the 6-day training. Realised that obviously I wanted to take the next step as well and go on to the masters, because become a master in a sense. And yeah, it kind of, I had a big shift, because I kind of realised from going on to the 6 days, I kind of realised that I still had some limiting beliefs, and one of them being, you know, I had this massive limiting belief. In a sense, I felt I couldn't perform when I was public speaking. That was like my one thing that was, it was a bug of mine that was holding me back in different areas as well, not just, you know, not just being able to public speak, but it was actually giving me that confidence to interact with people, and also, you know, multiple people. And, you know, a lot of people perhaps didn't see that in me, but it was obviously a challenge that was holding me back.
And when you say that it was a challenge that was really holding you back and a really big limiting belief for you, Matt, just tell us a little bit about what it is you do. What is your business, and how important for you is it that you have the confidence and the ability to public speak and communicate with people?
Yeah, so my main business, I suppose, is within property. And so we invest in property. We've got agencies as well, and we've got teams. So communicating with teams is obviously a massive part of any business. And you know, NLP helped me to be able to see the different ways in which people were motivated, different ways in which people communicated. And you know, NLP helps me understand that, and since I've been able to communicate with the team better, you know, employees better, and motivate them better. So that kind of helped me out with my business. Another part of what I do, which I suppose NLP helped massively with, was you know, I do a lot of coaching, so one-to-one coaching, but also we do big events. So it could be, you know, just under 1,000 people in the crowd. And I always wanted to be that person standing on the stage, you know. And but there was always that limited belief, you know. I was always scared. So naturally, people are scared of public speaking, I think. And you know, it's not something that most people find comfortable with, but I wanted to be comfortable with it, because I knew if I got past that, I'd love it, I'd enjoy it, you know. So that was part of my journey. You know, I thought I'll focus on that, really dig deep into that throughout my training process with Edge. And you know, now I'm comfortable, I love it, I look forward to going and you know, speaking in front of hundreds of people. You know, like I say, the events are growing anyway, with nearly up to 1,000 people at a time, which is, you know, it's pretty special. And I always come away full of energy and so happy, and actually really thankful that I've gone through the process and worked on myself to be able to get to that level where I'm comfortable, and I look forward to speaking now.
That's incredible, because I remember, Matt, I do remember, I was party to all of your training, and it's always it's always really humbling. It's always an absolute pleasure to see people's journeys. I'm only observing it and facilitating that. But I remember vividly your absolute fear around public speaking, and that limiting belief of never always knowing that that's what you wanted, but actually the belief being that you could never get there. So now I see your posts on Facebook, and I see most weekends you're doing all of these fantastic events, and there's often photos of the rooms that you're presenting in, and there are hundreds and hundreds of people. And I absolutely take my hat off to you, because it's your pure determination, but also your focus, your motivation, and also obviously the tools of NLP that has got you to that place. And that's such a fantastic achievement. Do you ever find that you have people now come up to you and go, oh, I'd love to do what you do, but I just don't have the confidence?
All the time, the time. And I mean, it's hard to explain to people when now they do see me on stage and talking in front of so many people. They go, oh, you're a natural, and I could never do what you're doing now. And it's funny, obviously you see me right at the start, Jools, yourself and Pip, and how scared I was. I'd sit there with my hands would get sweaty, my breathing would be going, and I'd just be so worked up about speaking in front of people, and that was before I was even at an event. So looking back now, we're at the stage now when people say to me, oh, that's amazing, I could never do that. So you absolutely could, if you worked on yourself, and it's just twisting that belief, because it's only a thought, and NLP has helped me realize that, and that's just one element of it, public speaking, really.
That's incredible. That is incredible. So do you so you went through your practitioners, then you had a bit of a break to embed all of that, and then you came back and you did your masters.
I did.
When you left masters, was it quite a quick process to embed everything that you learned, or has it been that now, how long ago did you do your masters, Matt?
That's a good question off the top of my head. Probably about 8 months.
18 months? Yeah. Did you say 18? Yeah.
I said 8. I said 8.
8?
No, it wouldn't. It would have been about 18, yeah.
It would have been about 18 months ago, I think.
Yes, yeah, it definitely would, yeah.
Yeah. So that process, so you finished your masters, and obviously, we'd all love to think we fly out of the window with our Superman or Superwoman capes on, and we're there going, that's it, so I can handle anything. And, reality of life is actually we still get thrown those curveballs. But we're now 18 months on from you doing your masters. If you then look back to leaving your masters, what's the journey been in those last 18 months for you?
Yeah, I think from naturally, I think most people go on to and think as soon as they're going to step out that door, they're going to be a complete different person. And I think in some ways, absolutely they are, but it's not necessarily going to be an instant change, and I think it kind of almost unravels as you go along. You realise that your subconscious has took in a lot more than what you think it's taken in. And the skills and your mindset and the way you're thinking, and notice the way other people are thinking, just kind of shifts, but it's a subtle shift. And I would say everyone acts differently. Everyone, gets different results from, attending sort of like NLP training. And for me, it was probably gradual. I could imagine some elements were really, really quick. I definitely felt pumped to go and talk, because we really worked on that. I know, especially towards the end, because I had a couple of talks coming up, and so I felt quite pumped with that. Yes, I had nerves, you know, still,
Yeah.
but I realised that I could get over it, and they was just in my head. And you know, I think everyone will get different results from it at different stages. Some of it immediately, and then others a little bit more subtly over time. And that was certainly the case for me, you know. And now I suppose, even when I look back or something crops up in my life and I, you know, readjust my thinking, I know that it's part of NLP. You know, it's NLP. My subconscious going, you know, you're thinking a little bit negative there, you know. Let's reframe that.
Start coaching yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fabulous. And would you say NLP has had any impact on? We've heard from you about your business, and by the sounds of things and by what I'm seeing, it's just going from strength to strength, and you're doing brilliantly. What about on a personal level? So often people say, you know, I came to NLP because I really wanted to focus on my business, and these are all the things that I wanted to achieve. I want to have a great team. But what about NLP in your personal world? Has NLP had an impact on that?
Yes, 100%. I mean, like I said earlier about the understanding how people, you know, work, really, I suppose, why people have certain thoughts and, you know, past challenges that are actually, you know, once you learn NLP, you can kind of see them, you know, something that's happened and previously, you can kind of see that that's affecting people in a certain way. And I think I've been able to take that on and I wouldn't say coach people that don't want to be coached or anything like that, but know that I can act in a certain way that will help, you know, them to be able to move forward in a positive way. And that can be people like that are really close to me, you know, family, friends, partner, you know, it all has an effect in a positive way because your mind has changed. You're not like, I suppose, like one tunnel vision. It's like it's not like that anymore. It's
Flexibility.
You understand people more. You understand people. Different people have different wants and needs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you say, I suppose you're more flexible in the way you think yourself.
Yeah, and it's just remembering, isn't it, that who are we communicating for? It's always for the other person, but often we get caught up in, why aren't you hearing me? Why isn't my message landing? And potentially not being flexible enough and adaptable in that conversation. Matt, one thing I also wanted to ask you about, and we're going to bring this to a close in a minute, is I also remember when we met right at the beginning of your training, one of your goals and one of the things that you really wanted to achieve was to go and do UPW, Unleash the Power Within, with Tony Robbins. And I believe you did that recently.
I did.
How?
Yes. Really good. Really, really good. Naturally, there was, you know, and once you know NLP, you can kind of see it, but it's very, very powerful, you know. And I think the event was really, really well structured. You know, it's a lot about anchoring, especially on the first day, to be able to do the firewalk. You know, and I think anchoring is so powerful. You know, it's actually, you know, obviously just one part of NLP, but you know, if you can anchor a certain emotion, you know, you can pretty much get through anything, you know, and the firewalk, you know, resembles exactly that. But yeah, it's amazing. You know, there was a lot of different kind of content, different subjects in a sense, but yeah, really good, real powerful event. You know, hats off to them because it's been designed in such a way it, you know, keeps you captured. Yeah.
Well, I did it a good few years ago, so I'm really tempted to do it again. And I have to say, when I did do it, there were only about 5,000 people. I think it's doubled in number now, if not more so. And the firewalk for me was the most powerful part of it, for the fact that the Friday morning when it starts and you're told you're going to be walking over it, hot coals at 11 o'clock that night. But for a minute, but just as you say, just anchoring that desired state and anchoring that belief that you can and you will is quite phenomenal. And actually for me, it was UPW that got me interested in NLP. That was my
Oh, wow.
my into NLP. But that's another story for another day. So, Matt, thank you so much for talking to me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I know you are a very busy man, so I'm going to let you get back to work. Just one final question. What's next for you, Matt?
What's next? That's a very good question, Jools. Very good question. Well, at the moment, we are focusing heavily on franchising the business. Well, one of the businesses to be able to step back from the front line, though I've already kind of done that, is to really kind of grow that on a national scale.
Remind us of the name of your business, which is...
So that's I let properties and I sell properties. So that's the estate agency side, and that's been franchised across the UK, which we've already got a couple of franchises now. So that's going to grow nicely. And yeah, continue the coaching, and hopefully the events will get bigger and bigger, and be able to affect more and more people in such a positive way. We've got lots going on, actually. We've got a software as well that we've just created, which is being sold to estate agents and to investors for them to be able to source lead, automatically. So that's quite exciting for us at the moment. But
so lots going on.
Yeah, lots going on, but it's all good fun. Love it.
That's awesome, Matt. That's awesome. And would you have thought 18 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, that you would be here doing what you're doing now?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You have a vision. I've always great believer of having a vision of where you want to go, but you can never vision to the finest detail. But I know what I've created is what I envisioned, a few years ago. So
power of goal setting.
100%, and it's easy not to do, but it's also easy to do. And a lot of people don't, and I think that makes the difference is when you take the time. And I actually generally enjoy it. Thinking, okay, what do I want in the next 12 months? What do I want in the next 5 years? It's
be really motivating, can't it?
Of course, yeah. Otherwise, it's like getting into a boat, without a sailor. Where are you going to go?
Where are you going?
You're just going to get seasickness, huh?
Go round in circles.
Yeah. So that's all good.
Awesome. Matt, thank you so much for talking to us here at Bitesize Edge today. We really, really thank you for your time and your energy, and good luck with everything that you choose to do going forward.
Thank you very much, Jools. Always a pleasure speaking to you.
You take care, Matt.
All right. And you, take care.
Take care. Bye.